In the royal city of Kalandapura, a sense of anticipation hung heavy in the air as Devasrava, the second son of Surasena and younger brother of Vasudeva, awaited the birth of his first child. His wife, Kamsavati, was in the throes of labor, and after hours of tense waiting, the midwife emerged with joyous news. A son had been born. Devasrava, overwhelmed with happiness, rejoiced at the birth of an heir who would continue his legacy. Kamsavati, too, felt immense joy at the arrival of their son, whose presence filled their hearts with hope and pride. The king ordered grand celebrations throughout the kingdom. The streets of Kalandapura were adorned with banners, and the people were treated to lavish feasts. In his generosity, Devasrava donated cows, wealth, and other gifts to his subjects, ensuring that the joy of his son's birth was shared by all. The newborn was named Shatrugna, a name signifying the destroyer of enemies. As tradition demanded, Devasrava performed the horoscopic rituals for his son, seeking blessings from the gods for the child's future. As days passed, the kingdom's astrologers, studying Shatrugna's horoscope, discovered something ominous. The planetary alignments and the geographical position of Kalandapura at the time of his birth foretold a dire future. If the boy remained in the kingdom, it would bring immense calamity, leading to the eventual destruction of Kalandapura. The astrologers, though confident in their findings, hesitated to deliver such devastating news to the king directly. Instead, they consulted the king's closest ministers, who conveyed the troubling revelation to Devasrava. Upon hearing this, the king was struck with anguish. The joy of his son's birth had turned into a profound sorrow. In desperation, he convened an immediate council of astrologers, ministers, and royal gurus to deliberate on the matter. The gurus, after thoroughly examining Shatrugna's horoscope, confirmed the astrologers' predictions. They agreed that the boy's presence in Kalandapura would spell doom for the kingdom. Devasrava found himself at a heartbreaking crossroads. On one side was his love for his firstborn son, and on the other, the safety and prosperity of his kingdom. Some ministers attempted to ease his torment, reminding him of Dhritarashtra, the king of Hastinapura, who had faced a similar dilemma with his firstborn son, but chose to keep him despite the warnings. But Devasrava, unwilling to jeopardize the entire kingdom for his personal love, decided that the only choice was to abandon Shatrugna. In deep pain, Devasrava personally informed Kamsavati of his decision. The queen, shattered by the news, wept inconsolably, pleading with her husband to reconsider. She begged him, saying if Shatrugna must be abandoned, then she too should be cast out with her son. But Devasrava, though equally heartbroken, stood firm, reasoning that the kingdom's welfare had to take precedence. Through tears, he convinced Kamsavati that their sacrifice was for the greater good, though it tore him apart to do so. With a heavy heart, Devasrava entrusted his infant son, Shatrugna, to his soldiers. He provided them with 3 horse carts laden with food and supplies, issuing specific instructions for their journey. The soldiers were to travel into the north forests, venturing as far as the provisions allowed. Once half of the supplies had been consumed, they were to leave the child there in the wilderness and return to Kalandapura without looking back. Bound by their duty, the soldiers obeyed the king's sorrowful command. They set out on their journey, traveling for 3 Pushkara days, a total of 36 days, into the dense and desolate forest. Upon reaching a remote and isolated location, where the supplies were nearly half depleted. They gently placed the infant Shatrughna on the forest floor. Offering silent prayers for the child's survival, they began their sorrowful journey back to the city, haunted by the cries of the abandoned prince. Deep within the dense, untamed forest, a hungry sloth bear roamed restlessly. For days, it had been unable to find its usual fare of honeycombs, termites, and ants. The scarcity of food had left it ravenous, its instincts sharpened and its patience frayed. Desperate for sustenance, the bear scoured the forest floor, its keen sense of smell and sharp ears guiding its futile search. Amidst the rustling leaves and distant calls of birds, an unfamiliar sound caught the bear's attention. A faint but distinct cry of a baby. It was a strange and unnatural sound in the wild, piquing the bear's curiosity and stirring its primal instincts. Driven by hunger and territorial dominance, the bear lumbered toward the sound, its massive paws crushing the undergrowth with each step. As the bear emerged from the shadows, its dark eyes fixed upon the abandoned Shatrughna lying on the forest floor. The soft wails of the child were unlike anything the bear had encountered before, but hunger soon overpowered hesitation. And the bear's natural instinct to attack anything new or unfamiliar surged to the forefront. The sloth bear, with its sharp claws and immense strength, charged toward the baby with a guttural growl. Its powerful forelimbs, capable of tearing bark from trees, were now poised to strike. Just as the bear reared back for its attack, a sudden volley of arrows sliced through the air. From the cover of the forest, the arrows struck the bear's massive body in rapid succession. With a pained roar, the bear faltered, its momentum breaking as it stumbled forward. The beast collapsed to the ground with a thud. The forest fell silent, save for the faint rustling of leaves. Out of the shadows, a group of Nishada hunters, led by their king, Hiranyadanu, emerged. Bows in hand, their sharp eyes scanned the area, ensuring the threat had been neutralized. Hiranyadanu, a seasoned hunter, approached the lifeless bear cautiously before turning his attention to the source of the sound that had drawn them there, the infant. There, lying the abandoned Shatrughna, his cries now quieter as if sensing the safety brought by the hunters. Hiranyadanu knelt beside the child, his rugged features softening as he examined the boy. The infant's noble appearance and the remnants of royal provisions nearby spoke volumes. The Nishada king knew this was no ordinary child. To Hiranyadanu there was no doubt. The gods themselves had led him to this boy, marking this moment as a turning point in their tribe's destiny. Understanding the gravity of what had just transpired, he resolved to take the child with them to their village. With the hunters carrying the slain bear and Hiranyadanu carrying Shatrughna, the group made their way back to the residence of the Nishada tribe, nestled deep within the forest. Their arrival sparked curiosity and murmurs among the tribe, as the sight of the infant wrapped in fine silks and the imposing carcass of the bear told an unusual story. Hiranyadanu, with the boy held securely in his arms, stepped forward to address his people. Standing tall amidst the gathered tribe, Hiranyadanu addressed his people with the resolve of a leader who had witnessed the hand of fate. He declared that the boy had not come to them by chance, but through the divine will of the gods. It was evident to him that the child had been placed in their care for a purpose. From that moment, he proclaimed that the boy would be one of them, a son of the Nishada people. He would grow under their protection and guidance, raised with love, strength, and dedication as Hiranyadanu's own child. The people listened intently, their eyes reflecting both awe and joy, as Hiranyadanu named the boy Ekalavya, a name imbued with meaning and purpose. It signifies one who is focused or the singularly dedicated one. The tribe, known for their simplicity and innocence, untouched by the cunning and jealousy of the material world, welcomed the boy with open hearts. To them, the arrival of Ekalavya was a blessing, a sign that their leader had been granted an heir who would carry forth the legacy of their people. Their joy was evident in their cheers and celebrations as they gathered to see the child who now belonged to them. In Hastinapura, the prophecy of Veda Vyasa unfolded exactly as foretold. Through his divine intervention, 100 sons and 1 daughter were born from the pots he had created. The miracle brought unparalleled joy to Dhritarashtra, who now considered himself the happiest man in the world. To him, the years of difficulties and insults he had endured seemed to be compensated by this extraordinary blessing. Surrounded by his children, Dhritarashtra felt an immense pride in his legacy, convinced that his dynasty was now more secure than ever. The task of naming the royal offspring was undertaken by Kripacharya and the royal gurus. Each of the 100 sons was given a name reflecting aspirations for their future, and the only daughter was named Dushala, embodying grace and elegance. The court celebrated this unprecedented event, and the entire kingdom rejoiced, for the Kuru dynasty had no shortage of heirs. Bhishma, the grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, felt a deep sense of peace and fulfillment. With 100 sons born to Dhritarashtra and 5 sons to Pandu, the future of the kingdom seemed secured. In Shatashringa, far from the political intrigues of Hastinapura, Pandu enjoyed the simple joys of family life. He found immense happiness spending time with his 5 sons and his wives. Kunti, with her 3 sons, and Madri, with her twins, shared in the contentment, living in harmony and peace. For them, the weight of their past burdens had been lifted, and they had nothing to worry about. Amid this atmosphere of celebration, there were, however, pockets of quiet unrest. Sugadha, the mother of Yuyutsu, while happy for her son, often felt troubled. Her son, born not to a husband but to Dhritarashtra, symbolized an unusual circumstance. She worried about her son's future and his place within the intricate dynamics of the royal family. Though she hid her concerns, they lingered in her heart. Elsewhere in the palace, Vidura and Sulabha found joy in their growing family. They had been blessed with 2 sons, Anusava and Anukithu, and a daughter, Ambavati. Vidura, ever wise and loyal, balanced his duties toward the kingdom and his love for his family with remarkable poise. Their household became a quiet haven amidst the complexities of royal life. Yet, beneath the surface, shadows of manipulation were continuing to take more control. Shakuni, Dhritarashtra's cunning brother-in-law, outwardly expressed happiness for the king's newfound joy, but behind his facade lay an agenda. At every opportunity, he subtly reminded Dhritarashtra that his eldest son, Duryodhana, should rightfully ascend the throne, not Yudhishthira, the son of Pandu. Shakuni's words, laced with cunning and ambition, began to influence Dhritarashtra, planting seeds of bias and insecurity. Bhishma, with his keen perception, observed the subtle changes in Dhritarashtra's demeanor. He recognized the manipulation at play and understood that Shakuni was the architect of these shifting dynamics. Though outwardly calm, Bhishma's heart grew heavy, and he prepared himself to safeguard the balance of the Kuru dynasty, knowing that the unity of the kingdom would soon be tested by forces far more complex than celebration and joy.